Hi. Chapter 7. We are so in the middle of this thing where we get to decide and discuss and postulate. We get to we really get to answer the $1,000,000 question. Who am I? Right? That's the question. Who are you? Who are you? All right. Now you gotta go back, rewind the tape here a little bit. Go back. Who are you? We've talked about intrapersonal communication. So you are that person that you have that conversation with inside your head, inside your heart, about those big ticket items like why? Why are you here? Who are you? What's this thing called life? Huh? Huh? Okay, so we've also decided that part of who you are may have everything to do with the labels that people are putting on you. You are, for a while now, while you're young, you are what we say you are. And really, quite frankly, that's why we introduced Maslow in this whole concept of moving up in that pyramid of essential needs towards self-actualization and enlightenment. Who are you? Where are you along that schema of Maslow? What are those labels telling you? Okay, so think about that. And then yesterday we saw that we also are, in addition to the labels, in addition to that, we also are those things that are inner core, the feelings, the values, and the beliefs that we are accumulating. Again, if we're talking beliefs, some of those are given to us. They're handed to us. You know, they're lovingly provided, or they're shoved down your throat. Listen, if we're talking about values, we get to invent those too. At first, we're told you will value this. Here's what you believe, X, Y, and Z. And here's what you will value, A, B, and C. All right? So we're told those things. And don't forget that those beliefs are the things that we find to be true, the truth. Dogma or the star model. Values are the things that we give worth to. Now, the beauty of both of those things is that you can self-create. Who are you as far as values are concerned? Who are you as far as beliefs are concerned? And then the last one, the feelings, the emotional response. This is tricky. This is tricky. I don't know if there's any way to reinvent. You know, what makes you happy makes you happy. What makes you sad makes you sad. Right? Sure, we can come to terms with our fears. Try to climb over the top of that. Okay, we can. We can. Those micro adjustments in the emotion. But generally, we own our emotions like we own our fingerprints. All right? So when I say, who are you? It has everything to do with the labels so far, everything to do with what's in that inner core of you so far. And don't forget about attitudes. We talked about this yesterday. Attitudes are the patterns of responses or actions, the patterns of thinking based on that inner core. And then, who are you? Who are you? Well, most of us are going to know you because of your actions. The actions or behaviors or actions on the very outer ring that we showed you yesterday of who you are. Actions. Who are you? Well, sometimes it's just how you act that identifies you. Okay? And be very careful about judging people just solely based on their actions. And that's why that brick wall becomes so important to tear down during great relationships. Right? During great relationships. All right, let's do this now. Let's consider this question. Why is it then, if we are those labels in our self-concept, don't forget that, our self-esteem, if we are what we are as far as values, feelings, and beliefs, then what could possibly make us deviate from that norm? right? Now here's the question for today. It's about deviance. Listen, listen. There are some things that will make Tony not act like Tony usually acts. You ever look at a friend and go, "Whoa, that's not like Tina. That's not like Tina." I had a student one time, I heard this out loud in the classroom. She was just this model student. Again, behavior, right? I don't know. Maybe I don't know what she valued, but her behavior said model student. She opened her notebooks all the time. She hung out. She took great notes. She passed the test. Glorious colors. I know she was studying. And then one day she's hanging out and she's in class. And there's no books on her desk. There's no notebook open. And really, quite frankly, she's fidgety. She's crossing her arms. She's looking at the floor. She's looking at the ceiling. Okay? And I made reference of it. I got into proximity. And I said, "Are you okay?" And she totally just completely flipped. All right? She grabbed her stuff and threw it in her backpack and stomped out, and slammed the door. And somebody that was sitting right next to her said, "Whoa, that's not like Tina. That's not like Tina." Okay? All right, so what would cause somebody to deviate from their normal persona? Man, I tell you what, that's a great question, because you are these things too, if you think about it. All right, so here's the first one, and the first one was happening to Tina that day. The first one is happening to many of us these days. All right, to deviate from your normal behavior, your norms. Okay, just takes some stress sometimes. Stress is the first way we can deviate from those norms, from the behavior norms. Under pressure, under stress. That's why Tina flipped out. That's why she got up and stomped out. That's why she slammed the door. She had failed a math test. She was having trouble with her relationship with her friend. Okay? She had a very bad hour before mine. Stress. Okay? And that's not like Tina. It wasn't. Here's another one. That at 17, oh man, at 7 even you become familiar with this, but at 17, yeah, peer pressure. Here's a simple definition of peer pressure. Your peers putting on pressure. I know. But this is your friend group, the other 17-esque-year-olds that are hanging out with you. And honestly, quite frankly, man, I tell you what, this thing can get us to totally act in opposition. Listen to the words. In opposition to our inner feelings, values, and beliefs, because that's what deviations mean. We act in opposition to our inner feelings, values, and beliefs. Okay? Peer pressure, you know what that is? They reach out, your friends reach out, and they grab the invisible ring that you have in your nose. And they tell you, "Come on, we're going to do this. Come on, let's do this." And it goes against what you value. And it goes against what your truth is. You even have a visceral emotional response that says, "No." But out of your mouth comes, "Oh, yeah. Come on, we're going to go do this." Peer pressure. And you find yourself in a place where you never would have gone. You get up in the morning and you have regrets. Peer pressure. Now, I don't have to ask you even why you do that. I don't have to ask you. We've discussed it. Why does peer pressure even exist? Oh, I know. Maslow. Let's do the math here. Okay? You need to feel like you belong, like the starving man needs a sandwich. You need to feel like you belong. Like the woman that feels unsafe needs safety. Okay, so when your friends say, hey, come on, even though the actions that you're about to perform go against your inner core, you go and do it. You go and do it. I've done it. You've done it. Your sister and brothers and your mothers have done it. Why? To feel included. All right. All right, but here's the thing. Here's the deal. Or I hate to bring my grandfather in again and suggest you run away from people like that. But the beauty is there are thousands of people out there waiting from that acquaintance pool that you're in to be better friends than the friends that would encourage you to go against your inner core beliefs and truths, feelings and values. There are thousands of people out there in that, acquaintance pool. We'll talk about that in chapter 9. But man, I tell you what, we don't see that sometimes. So we act in opposition to who we really are in that inner core. Come on, do this. Come on, let's do this. Okay? Yeah, it happens. It doesn't have to. The most freeing moments that I've ever felt in my life was when somebody tried to reach out and grab that invisible ring in my nose and said, "Come on, let's." And I like slapped their hand, and I slapped it gently. I said, "No. You guys go. You guys go. Call me. Call me for bail money." Seriously, when I slapped that hand that was grabbing at that invisible ring in my nose, come on, Joswiak, let's go. It's like, nah. There's a crucial moment where you love yourself as much as you love your friends. Okay? And you can just look right at them and say, nah. Here's another one. Another deviation from the norm of Tony, from the norm of Tina. It's called mob mentality. Mob mentality. See what a simple definition? Everybody was doing it, so I did it too. This is different than peer pressure. Here's why. In mob mentality, you might not even know the thousands of people around you. Thousands of people around you. It's a mob. It's a big mob. There's 150 of you hanging out. It's a mob. You might not know everyone. They might be of all various different ages, whatever, right? But they're all acting the same way, so you join in the action, even though it goes against your inner core, your feelings, your values, and your beliefs. Okay? The best example I ever saw of mob mentality was after the Minnesota Gophers. The Gophers up there at the U of M, the Gophers. Who chooses a mascot as a gopher? Okay? There's only a few worse in the nation, and the Cobbers are one of them. Listen. I know I just offended a bunch of people, but it's the truth. Listen, the Gophers won the NCAA hockey championships a long time ago. The Gophers won the championship. They just win it all. Okay? And it was at the old Mariucci Arena, and I still remember this. I'll tell you what, everybody starts piling out of the doors. Everybody starts piling out of the doors. Yeah, we won. Yeah, we won. And then, basically, and I don't know how to say this any other way, but all hell breaks loose. People were rocking a security car and screaming, and then they got it rocking so hard they flipped it over in the street. There were trash cans getting thrown through window fronts on stores. People were climbing. I remember this. Students were climbing the light poles, the street light poles, And then they'd get 50 or so students up that streetlight pole, and they'd bend that thing all the way to the ground. It was bedlam. And everybody was doing it. And guess what? A lot of people got arrested. A lot of people got arrested. And I guarantee you this. There were people that woke up in jail going, how did I get here? I can't believe I did that last night. That's mob mentality, where everybody goes, yep, yep, yes, yes, oh, yes, yes. And you feel like you want to say no. But you go, yes. Mob mentality. Everybody was throwing stuff and rocking cars and tipping them over and starting fires in the middle of the street. True story. You got caught up in it, and you did it too. That doesn't, what do you mean Tony was in jail? That doesn't sound like Tony. All right. So when I ask you who you are, all of these things come into play. You know, the labels, where you are on that echelon of Maslow. Okay. How you feel about yourself when you look in the mirror, the self-concept. Okay. The inner core of who you are, feelings, values, and beliefs. Where'd you get them? Are you toying with changing them? Are you doing anything about that? Your attitudes. All of this will answer that question. Plus, then you got to factor in the deviations from the standard you or the normal you. Stress, mob mentality, and peer pressure. Wow, it's getting more complicated. It's getting more, just wait till tomorrow. It gets even more complicated. All right, that's enough for today. You know I'm rooting for you. Love you all, each and every one of you, for who you are, whether you know it or not.